Hey, I'm Sammy, and this is Glitchless Chaos. This is all about where I'm raising kids, loving my neurodivergent husband, building a business, writing books, and keeping life interesting. If you feel like you're balancing it all too, then you came to the right place. Let's get into it. Okay, so today we're talking about something a lot of neurodivergent people know all too well: masking. Masking is basically where you're adjusting how you act in the world around you. You learn what people expect, and you learn what is considered normal around you, and you sort of perform this version of yourself. You basically learn it at an early age, and some of us actually do. And you learn social behaviors, mannerisms. It all just becomes a big learning process for us. You basically learn what responses make things easier, and eventually it becomes automatic. And the funny thing is sometimes a lot of us don't even know that we're masking. We think we're being polite or we're trying to fit in, and sometimes trying to avoid awkward situations because we don't want to fight, or we don't want to do anything. We don't want to have any issues. But over time it becomes exhausting because we end up monitoring ourselves, thinking, am I doing too much? Did I say something wrong? Am I being too quiet? Was I being too rude? Did I do this the wrong way? Or did I buy the wrong present? Just something of that matter. We're constantly monitoring. And we always have this social operating system opened and updating and running in the background all the time. And it just becomes a lot. And it's constant. It becomes super draining. Now, for people who are high masking, they come off like they are fine on the outside. You're functioning very well. You're taking care of your responsibilities. You're raising your kids. You're doing great. But internally, you're completely and utterly drained. And a lot of people just don't see that because I'm high masking. So, a lot of people just don't understand that. And, it just becomes it just becomes a lot, because when you're so good at masking, it's hard to see when you're struggling. And people just think because you're good at masking, the world just assumes you're good. Everything is fine. She doesn't need help. She's okay, or he's okay. So everything's okay. But it isn't. But we're good at adapting. And I know that sounds really sad. And a lot of the times it is really hard for us to ask for help. But, we're learning. So give us some grace. Just give us grace. And one of the biggest things that I've actually been learning is to unmask. Now, when to unmask and where to unmask is also a thing. Because I've learned you can't unmask all the time. And, not everywhere is a place to unmask either. But, when to unmask is where you feel the most comfortable and the most safe. And for me, it's home. And who to unmask around is, the people who truly and utterly understand you. And I mean, really understand you at your core. And that's who you should truly unmask around. And when you get around those people or when you feel safe in that environment, it's amazing. You feel normal, you feel, freeing, and it's like taking your shoes off after a long day, or having a bubble bath, or just stripping down out of your work clothes and getting into something comfortable, or a glass of wine. I don't drink wine. It's like a glass of tea, something to like relax. It's really just utterly just relax. Cracking open a good book or something of that matter. Whatever it is you do to relax, to unwind, it's literally like that for people who mask. And it's the most relaxing thing possible for everybody who walks around with a mask on. And if we're not able to do that, then we crash. And it's not the best thing in the world. It's not fun. If you've ever felt like you're too much or too different, or if you've ever been told that you're too much or too different, I really do want you to hear this. You're not too much, and you're not too different. Your brain just works differently, and it's not broken. You just see the world differently. That's it. That's it. You're unique, you're creative, and you're beautiful. And for the people that said that, they're not fun. They're not the people that you should be around. Because I was told that a lot. And now look at me. I'm told I'm weird, and honestly, I love that badge. That's my fun badge. And, I would rather be weird than be boring. And I could be boring too, though. I really can. But you're not too much. You're really not. Because there's people out there that don't have anybody that probably are most likely feel the same way you do. So find your people. Find your people. Now, my brain is remembering how I was always treated, or my brain was always treated differently, and how, which sounds really weird saying it, but growing up the way I grew up, I was always, told, why does your brain work that way? It's so weird. And I'm honestly grateful in some ways for the way I grew up, because it shaped who I am today. And it gave me who I have in my life. Because if I wasn't who I am now, I wouldn't have my kids or my husband. And I wouldn't have my friends. And yes, they are like I have a very small group of friends. And I don't want a huge group. And I have friends, and then I have like my best friends. And I like those people. And I have like acquaintances. Lord have mercy. I cannot speak. But I do have people like that I talk to, that I'm cordial with, that I love like chit-chatting with and BSing with and giggling with. And then I have my other people. And, my brain goes to them immediately and like giggles with them and laughs with them. And the journey to get to them is crazy to think about. So yeah, it has all of those tabs open, and I wouldn't change it, because then it would change me. And honestly, I couldn't say I would change me, because I can't. And if you've enjoyed hanging out with me today, please don't forget to follow the podcast so you don't miss the next episode. And honestly, thank you for hanging out with me today. I'm Sammy, and this is Glitchless Chaos. where I've kept it real. And remember, I love you.